We're back here on Liquid Lunch, hitting the home stretch. By the way, people, stay tuned because Wendy Ladd is here. Fabulous, fit, and fantastic coming up as soon as we get finished here. But we're not finished yet because we've got Jessica Hunter here. And Jessica, you are the opposite of Andrew, our last guest, because you're here to tell everybody how they can get fabulously rich, right?
Using the Rothschild and the Rockefeller model.
Now, I thought those were the bad guys because I just saw that Thrive movie, and they're the bad guys.
Who says they're the bad guys?
The guy
who makes that up?
Well,
They have the money, they have the power, they run your life.
I know.
Do you want to run your own life?
Yeah, I would like to.
So wouldn't you like to get a little bit of knowledge?
Okay.
A little bit of the Rothschild knowledge and use it to your advantage?
Can you imagine if you were like the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers and you wanted to do all the things that Andrew wants to do? You'd be able to do it like...
They wouldn't want to do that.
Why not? Don't they want to help their fellow man? Jessica?
Which fellow man? We all have our own fellow men.
Oh,
we
I
all
see.
fall into our own groups.
Well, I think they're in the reptilian, shape-shifting, alien hybrid group.
Could be.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Are the neighborhoods in that group also that he spoke of?
Yes, you speak of
Yeah.
forbidden wealth, and we're the forbidden zone.
Exactly.
Happy to go there.
Okay, let's get into it. So, okay, how can someone become, what do you call it? Fabulously forbidden wealth and power seekers. Tell us what you know, Jessica. We want to know this information.
Okay, I'll give you one, for instance, that I think is really good, and that's the Battle of Waterloo.
Okay.
The grandfather Rothschild had 5 sons.
Yeah.
He sent one to each capital of in Europe, one to England, one to France, one stayed in Germany.
Yeah.
The one in France paid for the war in France.
Okay.
He paid for Napoleon's war.
Yeah.
And the one in England paid for Wellington's war, the English side of the war.
Yeah, they financed both sides of that war.
Clever, huh?
I'm not sure. Well, here's what I heard about that battle, too, is that the British Rothschild had a spy overlooking the battlefield.
They both had spies on the battlefield, and they were both welcome on the battlefield. And they rode off the battlefield periodically to say who was winning. And they rode off when the English looked like they were winning. They rode off, they got down to Calais, jumped on a boat, went to England, told Nathan. Nathan went to the stock exchange, studied motionlessly at his pillar, gave the nod to his boys to sell all the bonds, spread the rumor that the French were winning. They dumped all the bonds along with everybody else, and just before the information came in, bought them all up.
Yeah, so they bought everything cheap, and then they basically took over the British economy from that point forward.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is great if you're a Rothschild.
Yeah,
But that's what I know, and that's what you're here to tell us today, right?
Well, they say no inside information,
Yeah.
but isn't it the same thing when somebody's involved in developing legislation and they pick up that telephone and they say, hey, this is coming down the tubes today. So maybe it's pharmaceuticals. Buy some. It's going to be hot. The government have just said this is a drug that's going to be on the market. What's the difference? So why shouldn't the ordinary man in the street know how to do that? And why should it be a bad thing to know how to do that when people are already doing it? We're just not getting the benefit.
Okay, so what do you do? Do you teach people how to do this?
Yes.
How?
How? Well, if you're the third man on a wheel and you have competitors, the guy who sat in this chair before me could be considered a competitor, and you announce somebody else coming up, he could be considered a competitor. How about if I could get those two to fight, and I could come up the middle and take what they have while they're busy fighting? Would that be a tactic? Would that be
a tactic?
Would it work?
You know what?
It might.
It reminds me, though, but okay, this is going to be like, this is philosophical.
Okay.
discussion here, okay?
All right.
Because I do want to support your business and everything, but I remember like game theory, right? You can, in a game theory situation, you can set it up so that everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody can't win. That's so schoolboy.
Okay, hang on.
Come
Let
on.
me just finish. Let me finish my my point.
That's like people. They put the kid out there on the playing field, and they say, "Go play and have fun, sweetie." Sweetie grows up and he doesn't know how to play in the real world. He thinks it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. It works.
Well, it's interesting. I'll share my story. I was doing this in a university exercise, and yeah, everybody could win. But I said, it was just for fun. I said in my group, because it was group against group, let's screw the other groups, and we'll win relative to them. Like our score will be better than them. We could all have a higher score, but let's not care about that. Let's have a higher score and let's screw those other groups in the game theory, right? And that's kind of, seems to me, that's kind of what you're saying.
But that's business. That's business. If you want to get out there and play with the big boys,
Yeah.
you better know how to play.
Yeah. Hilton, what do you think about that?
Every game has its rules. And business, the rule of business as we know it today has its rules.
Is that why they're out demonstrating and take over Toronto or whatever it is?
Absolutely.
Because what? Because they played by the rules?
Because they're saying the rules don't include them.
Yes, and I want the rules to, and exactly, I want the rules to include me.
Right.
I want to play by the rules that work, not by the rules that they say I should play by and lose.
Mm-hmm.
I want their rules so I can win. I want to be in that room where they make the legislation.
Okay.
And I can use the inside information to buy the stocks and bonds or
If
whatever.
everybody did that, then we would live in a world where everyone could be winning and collaborating, not just competing.
Not everybody would, though.
There are people that choose not to, for the people that want to not match and not join.
You do whatever
The
you want to do.
contrarians.
But I want everybody to do whatever they want to do.
Okay.
If it's okay for some,
Yeah.
it's okay for me. That's
Right.
what I want. Is
All
that
right.
fair?
Yes. So, what is it that you specifically teach? How do you do that? How do you bring about this? Wealthy, for
Well,
individuals that want to learn.
There is a fairy tale that goes, if you work hard, you'll reap the benefits. That's not true. If you work smart and surround yourself with smarter people, you'll reap the benefits.
All right.
That's the only way you will reap the benefits. And all this baloney about working at home and
So how are you working smart?
I'm teaching this.
All right. And smart people around you?
I have smart people around me every day.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to indulge in what might be called, I said might be called, dumb people.
Now, how do you teach this? Do you teach this to individuals, or do you teach in groups?
I do it several ways. I teach it to individuals. I give 10 sessions, 10 50-minute sessions. I also do it over Skype and on the internet. And I want to do an internet show. Maybe this will work out for me here today.
Well, I think it's working out already, because I'm certainly enjoying this conversation. But I want to know how you got to do this. You must have learned some lessons along the way, and how did you come to be sharing this knowledge with people?
Well, life doesn't necessarily teach you all the lessons. You don't have to fall down and get a black eye. You have right there in front of you that piece that says most CFOs don't have MBAs. Mm-hmm. So I went on to Harvard to see was that true onto their network, and that is absolutely true. And they're trying to make excuses for their MBAs not making the best CEOs. Mm-hmm. So there had to be something else. There has to be something else. Mm-hmm. And then when you see what's happening in the States, that's the greatest country in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going down the tubes.
No. Okay. Why?
Why are they going to? Because the average person didn't stay aware. If the average person was aware, some of those people wouldn't have even gotten into office. They would have listened.
Hey, but it's. I mean, if Well, we got the same problem here in Canada. Yeah, we might not have somebody as bad as George Bush or whatever, but still, we got a government that's not really serving us.
Yeah, but
is it our fault?
Yeah, but supposing you could look at Bill Clinton, you could go back in time and you could look at Bill Clinton, and you could say, Bill Clinton deregulated the markets. So if you were smart enough, you would have watched Bill Clinton and what he was doing, and you would have said, how can I use that to my advantage? A whole bunch of other people are going to anyway.
Yeah. Even if other people are complaining that it's the wrong strategy to do, you could instead and look at it as an advantage. Well, it might not be good for the country, but I can take advantage of this situation.
Well, if there's people who are supposed to be leading you are taking the advantage, why not follow the leader?
Okay. Do you see something right now? Is there a something you're seeing right now, something that's happening that you see as a big advantage that people could take?
Well, there's chaos. Chaos is always an advantage.
Yeah.
Anytime you see chaos, you know something else is coming down. We should have known there was something else coming down when they went into Iraq. We should have known there was something bigger. And that was the destroying of Europe. They destroyed Europe. I'm a European. They destroyed those countries.
Who destroyed Europe?
The bad paper. Wherever that bad paper came from, and we know that a lot of it came from the States. Yeah. They destroyed Europe. They took it to the cleaners. Well, if they're going to take it to the cleaners anyway, why can't I be part of that?
Yeah.
And it seems to be, people talk about ethics, but what does that really mean? You get punished for doing the wrong thing after you're a billionaire?
Well, what do you call ethics?
What do I call ethics? Yeah. I think ethics are, you think about what you're going to do, you think about all sides of how you can win, how you can lose on it.
Yeah.
And if it's good for you and you don't mind the losses, that's the way you'll go. That's how ethical, in my mind, people are. People are self-righteous. They try and bully you into corners. But if you won't go, you'll win.
Have you ever lost?
Of course.
What was that like for you? And how did that affect you?
I would think to myself, when I do what you call losing, I don't ever lose, really. I correct that. Because when I do what people call lose, I figure, how can I use that to my advantage? How can I use that in the future? And what did I learn from that?
So, friends, can you give us an example?
Give you an example?
Please.
Okay. I have to be careful which example I give you here.
No, nonsense.
Yeah, because I want to make.
You don't have to worry about it.
But I want to make a lot of money off one of them. I'm coming back, baby. Please remember me. I always go back, because people say, "Oh, never go back." No, never go back as to live the pain. Go forward to gain what is rightfully yours from the pain. That's all there is, and that's all the Rothschilds really did. That's all anybody really does who wins, as you call it.
So what was the pain the Rothschilds had that allowed them to gain as much as they did?
They were Jewish.
Yes.
They lived in Germany. The Jews were persecuted at that time. We were all persecuted, but they used it to their advantage. And it's a great advantage. It's still a great advantage today. I'm not.
People can use anything.
Make lemonade.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Jessica. Great to have you on the show. Now, if people want to take advantage of what you can do for them, how can they get in touch with you?
And get in touch with me through my email. forbiddenwealth.power@hotmail.com.
forbiddenwealth.power@hotmail.com?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And I think you should have a show. You can come back here to that channel every week.
That's a good idea.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for coming in today, and look forward to finding out more.
What are you looking forward to?
Finding out more.
Great.
forbiddenwealth.power@hotmail.com. Thank you. So I guess that's the show today, Hilton.
Yes.
We better get off the air
I think so.
because Wendy
We're
Ladd
really getting into trouble.
is waiting around to come on. So we're going to get off the air. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at noon for more Liquid Lunch right here on thatchannel.com. Stay tuned, Wendy Ladd coming up.
I should have showed you my book. That's the other
Oh,
side.
there's the book, man.
Eating cold days, destruction had begun. Smart from the start, and that's what went wrong. Humans left the jungle where they belong. Stripping earth of her natural beauty, destroying her land, taking oil so cruelly. Sunshine down, burning holes in her face, making her less pretty to those creatures she created. With less oil, she could not protect her skin. She looked mid-trillions, wrinkled and thin. Water was near gone, and all the creatures missed the taste of eternal bliss. With the lemons connected land and sky, the clouds were carrying water for this reason why. Rain poured down for many long years. Nature celebrated these happy rain tears. Creatures realized in peace they could live. They all found in life an eternal gift. New trees grew around the world in days. Grass was so lush with healthy sun rays. Plants from flowers made insects dance. Earth saw a life of new balance. Earth is living too, it is true. Remember, she is breathing just like you. Sun shines out, singing all the while. Start your day with a song and a solar smile.
It's time to understand the plan. Music of a global band, a wounded habitat.